Alexander Usyk put this tweet out yesterday, and he's been doing a lot of videos calling Fury out and telling him to hurry up and get the deal done. In this tweet, and obviously Usyk doesn't speak English very well, so I have to assume that this was written by somebody else. He said, "Fury, you talk about greatness in boxing. At the same time, you say, give me a lot of money. Greatness in boxing is not determined by money. Greatness comes from a victorious path. You say that I avoid you, although I never have. And in fact, I've even come to you. I'm ready to box with you, even without any prize money." Okay, so that's the tweet from Usyk. Now, of course, you've got all the demented Fury fanboys in the comments accusing Usyk of ducking and trying to get out of the fight. I mean, are we living in an alternative universe here? Because a year ago, Alexander Usyk offered Tyson Fury to fight. He tried to make the undisputed fight, and it was Fury who said, "Oh no, I need a tune-up." It was Fury who started longing out the negotiations until Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua got fed up. Because obviously, if AJ's going to have to wait even longer for his rematch with Usyk or a shot at the winner of Fury Usyk, they're going to want more money than was originally the case in the original step-aside deal. Because again, Fury's moving the goalposts, introducing this interim fight, this tune-up fight, should I say, before he steps in there against Usyk. These are facts. Fury didn't want to go straight into a Usyk fight, even though he'd just come off a fight against Wilder. So it's not like he'd been out the ring for a long time. So it could have happened then. It didn't because of Tyson Fury. So anyway, Usyk goes ahead, has the rematch with AJ. He wins. Afterwards, they start talking to Tyson Fury. Now, there was an interview that Alexander Usyk did with, I think it was the press from his country, and they were asking him when he's going to be back in the ring. And he said that he's had some hard training camps for the AJ fights and what have you, a long time away from his family, and we know what's going on in his country. And so he wanted to spend Christmas with his family, and he had a few niggles and stuff he wanted to recover from. Then he'd fight Fury in early 2023. Fury, who hadn't mentioned anything about fighting Usyk in December prior to this point, opportunistically then comes out and says, "Oh, you see, you're ducking me. I was ready to fight you in December." Well, there was no agreement to fight in December. What are you talking about? He just used that in an opportunistic fashion when there was no fight agreed for December. So, and think about it, right? Because this is what all these Fury fanboys are jumping on. Think about it. It was the end of August when Alexander Usyk beat Anthony Joshua in that rematch. And so September, October, November, December, you're trying to tell me that they could have negotiated and then got the fight done? Because you're going to need to get the fight done at least, 6 weeks before it happens? Think about how much time there's been between the end of August and now, and they still haven't got the fight done. But you're telling me they could have got it done by December? Give it a rest, okay? So, and again, you look at Alexander Usyk's track record throughout his entire career. When has he ever been somebody that messes people around? You guys tell me, when has he ever been someone, he's always been easy to deal with. It's Tyson Fury who's got the long track record of messing people about. Of course, yes, he has taken some tough fights, but there's been many fights that he hasn't taken, or many fights that he's delayed. He's kicked down the road for whatever reason. Maybe he thinks that the fight is going to be more lucrative down the line, or he thinks that the risk reward at a particular time isn't good. So he wants to see the fighter take some more damage and then make more money beating them in the future. You see what I'm saying? Like Floyd Mayweather used to do. So Fury is the one with the long track record of lying, going back on his word, being difficult to deal with, leading people up the garden path like he did in 2021, making the whole world believe that the AJ fight was going to happen. And he stayed silent throughout those negotiations, if you remember. And it was Eddie Hearn running around trying to make the fight, speaking to different locations and what have you. And Team Fury constantly reassuring everybody that the arbitration with Wilder wouldn't be an issue when it was an issue all along. Bob Arum's a lawyer. You think that Bob Arum didn't know that the arbitration was a serious issue? He would have known very soon after that situation was going on that there's a serious problem and there's a very good chance that this would scupper a fight with Anthony Joshua. Bob Arum would have known that, but he kept that from the public. He strung the public along, and of course he strung Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua along because, why not? If the arbitration with Wilder is going to keep us out of the ring, well, let's have it keep our rival out of the ring as well. That kind of thing. The dirty tricks that people play in boxing. And again, Fury went along with all this, and it was hilarious. Fury, about a day or two before the news came out that Wilder had won the arbitration and therefore the AJ fight couldn't happen, Fury came out and said, "Oh, I've got the fight's going to happen. We've announced it. We've got this deal done." And then a couple of days later, the deal's off. I mean, are you having a laugh? To me, that smacks of Tyson Fury knowing that the deal was going to get scuppered by the arbitration. You think that Bob Arum's not keeping him in the loop? But he was trying to preempt it, because obviously people would have jumped on Fury and said, you knew the fight wasn't going to happen all along. So to preempt that, he comes out and says, "Oh yeah, we've got this deal done and the fight's going to happen in Bahrain." And it's like, give it a rest. So Fury is the one who is a pathological liar, who's very manipulative, who's messed people around countless times with fights. I mean, even Dillian Whyte, right? He eventually fought Dillian Whyte and knocked him out, and that was a mandatory. But several years earlier, before Dillian Whyte had been knocked out by Povetkin, when Dillian Whyte looked a lot better, or at least a lot more sturdy, he had the opportunity to fight. Tyson Fury had the opportunity to fight Dillian Whyte then. And he said that he would if the WBC put the diamond belt on the line. The WBC said, "Okay, we'll do that." And then all of a sudden, Tyson Fury says, "Oh, no, I'm not going to fight Dillian Whyte." It's like, the amount of times this guy's done this in his career. David Price back in the days for the British title. That would have been a big fight for Tyson Fury. He was fighting in little leisure centers on Mick Hennessy shows, whereas David Price was selling out the Echo Arena, and Tyson Fury didn't want to do it. So look, Tyson Fury, as I've said many times, he's not afraid of these people. But what he is a very cunning and smart businessman. And in business, it's all about risk reward. Tyson Fury's all about the money, and he understands the value in having an undefeated record. Mayweather demonstrated that, the value of having an undefeated record. So he wants to minimize the risks that he takes. He has to take some risk. It's inevitable. Like with Klitschko, yeah? The only way to get a title shot back then was to fight Vladimir Klitschko, and you had to go to Germany to do it. Everybody did it. People are acting like Tyson Fury was the only one who ever went to Germany and fought Klitschko. No, everybody went to Germany to fight Klitschko, apart from a couple guys. The vast majority of people had to go there. David A went there to fight him. Well, let's not act like it was something unprecedented for someone to go to Germany and fight Klitschko. Everybody was doing it. You had no choice. And at the time, Fury was like, 23, 4 fights in? So what else was he going to do? Right? Credit to him for going over there and getting the win. But it's not like he did something extraordinary by going there. He had no choice. You know what I mean? People make Tyson Fury out to be way, way, way more in terms of the risks he's willing to take than he actually is. Yeah? In reality, once Tyson Fury reached a position of power, he started to become a lot more selective about who he fights and the risks he takes. Just like Mayweather did. Just like David Haye did. It's not like Fury's the only fighter who's ever tried to operate in this fashion. When David Haye moved up to heavyweight, he was calling out Klitschko and, saying this, that, and the other. He actually signed to fight Vitaly Klitschko. But then he pulled out of the Vitaly Klitschko fight because he got an opportunity to fight Nikolai Valoev instead, which was obviously a much more winnable contest. So that's what David Haye did. And then when he was WBA champion, he milked it for a couple years. He fought his mandatory in John Ruiz, which was, a pretty soft mandatory. Ruiz was way over the hill. And then he had the audacity to fight Audley Harrison. And I remember at the time, David Haye actually coming out and saying that the reason he was fighting Harrison is because the British public wanted that fight more than the Klitschko fight. He had the audacity to say that. So it's not like Fury's the first guy to ever do this kind of thing. You know what I mean? David Haye was up to it. Mayweather was up to that kind of stuff. And Mayweather really set the blueprint for this very cynical way of managing your boxing career. It's good from a health perspective, and it's good from a financial perspective, but it relies very heavily on deceit, lying, being manipulative, and all this kind of thing. You see? So long story short, Fury has got a long track record of being like this. Usyk doesn't. So when it comes to who I tend to trust more with the stuff they're coming out with at the moment, I tend to trust Usyk more. One caveat I'll add is in this tweet from Usyk, he says he's willing to box Fury without any prize money. I certainly don't believe that. That's hyperbole if ever I saw it. No, he's not willing to box Fury for no money, at least not in my opinion, in my view. But everything else with regards to Usyk, I think he's bang on it like a car bonnet. He wants the Fury fight. This is my view, and I'm basing it off his track record versus Fury's track record. With Tyson Fury, time will tell if he wants the fight. If Tyson Fury really wants this fight, then the fight will happen next. So that's what I mean when I say time will tell. If the fight doesn't happen next and Fury goes off to fight Francis Ngannou, then we will know, as far as I'm concerned, that Fury was just messing about with this Usyk thing. And he was just trying to draw it out and make it look like he wants it, but he doesn't really, nitpicking the contract, just like what AJ and Eddie Hearn did, in my opinion, with Fury at the back end of last year, where AJ seemingly accepted Fury's challenge, but then Eddie Hearn was talking about commercial this and blah, 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 and just nitpicking the contract and running down the clock because they didn't really want to put AJ in with Fury at that point. Yeah? So time will tell. I hope that Fury genuinely wants it. I hope that we get an announcement tomorrow or today that Usyk Fury is going to happen. Wherever, Saudi Arabia, London, I don't care as long as it happens. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm holding out hope for. But if disaster strikes and this fight falls through, obviously I'm going to hear both sides of the story. But for the past few weeks, for the past few months, I've been seeing negative signs coming from Fury's side. But I haven't been seeing negative sides coming from Usyk's side. And Fury has the track record of messing people about, and Usyk doesn't. That's the reality of it. So you guys let me know what you think about current developments with regards to this undisputed fight and the negotiations between Usyk and Fury. Let me know in the comments. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast, where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.